lately. A law-abiding man in the southern USA. Hey, hey. I'm not playing anymore. I'm not playing anymore. No, I'm not playing anymore. I'm not playing anymore.
Swift on the pavement, I wander off into the vacant. Skip through my story. If someone could forewarn me, I might trip and paint the street. But my dreams are not for me. Oh, but I can control them. Can we fall when we are asleep? Can we fall when we are asleep? It's what they got in the city, and I want all of it as long as it's pretty. And I said it in the heat of the moment. You're pondering moments, and now I'm making a scene. Quit putting me in things I don't wanna be involved in. I keep running from them goblins. I'm a 1 foot first type of guy, and I'm scared of heights. Can we
You're listening to the Jams and Coffee Morning Show with your host, Brad Brock.
Good morning, Jammers. And welcome to the Jams and Coffee Morning Show. It's Thursday morning. Lovely to have you here. I hope you enjoyed your Wednesday. Here we are doing it all over again. Another beautiful day here on the Treasure Coast of Florida. And I thank you for joining me here on YouTube, Facebook, or if you happen to be listening in on JNC Radio, of course, our companion internet radio station. Brought to you on our website at jncpodcast.com, or, of course, the LIVE365 Radio App that you can get for free from your favorite app store. Yes. Last night's podcast, the Jams and Cocktails podcast, was such a great time. Vern Dazel was our special guest, and we got to know a little bit more about Vern and what he's been up to since the last time he was on the show. And, of course, we talked quite a bit about his brand new full-length album, Call of the Wild. So thank you, those of you that tuned in for that last night. And, of course, those of you that are catching it later on today. I know sometimes it's school night. It's a school night on Wednesday nights. So sometimes you can't stay up, but we do love that you watch the show later on. Of course, it will be re-uploaded to YouTube to watch it with enhanced sound and all the various goodness that comes with a little bit of editing. And, of course, the audio version will be available anywhere you listen to podcasts this afternoon as well. The weather outside, as mentioned, it's beautiful. And we knew it was going to be. This time of year, it's very easy for the weather forecasters not to lie to our faces, as the weather becomes fairly predictable here, at least in Florida. This morning, we had it was very cold. It was a cold start to this morning. The temperature here at our house was 51 degrees, but that's going to move up quite a bit as we have highs in the upper 70s to low 80s and plenty of sunshine throughout the day. Tomorrow, we're looking at highs in the mid to upper 70s and scattered showers possible with a cold front moving in, so it's going to cool down quite a bit for the weekend here on the Treasure Coast. We also have, of course, Philip's irrelevant weather report coming out of Middle Tennessee. This, of course, is brought to you by Chesser Custom Designs, Laser Etching and Engraving. Check them out on Facebook. Philip says up there it's going to be a thick, balmy 65 degrees. It's a warmer start there, Philip, than it was here this morning. 65 degrees start to the day with storms rolling down from the north into their area today ahead of the front. He said currently there's no storm warnings, but neighbors to the north and southwestern Kentucky are having severe thunderstorm watches and warnings. He said those are going to ease into the mid-state area later today, bringing winds, rains, and thunderstorms to their area up there in Tennessee. He said, though, after the front passes and moves down, we'll be back to cooler, normal temperatures with lows in the 20s over the weekend and at night, and the highs into the 40s. Back to those balmy 40s there, Philip. He said, Tennessee weather, who knows? Yeah. While our weather here in Florida gets more predictable, the weather in Tennessee gets so wacko. Philip also asked, we were talking in the chat room on YouTube, just a little bit about Vern last night, which we'll touch on in a moment. But he asked me, when I worked on the cruise ships, was I doing the one-man band show, or is that something that came later? Honestly, because of the cruise ships, not doing the one-man band on the cruise ships really kind of pushed me into doing something else. I was just an acoustic guitar soloist on the cruise ships, and after years of that, when I quit cruise ships, I quit music for a couple of years completely. Performing anyway. I recorded an album and did a lot of stuff I did a lot of songwriting during that time, but did not go out and perform. That was not something I was interested in. My fingers hurt, my life hurt. I had no soul left. It was really, while doing the cruise ships was a wonderfully rewarding experience, and I got to meet some incredible people and travel all over the world playing music. It was really awesome. It was equally as draining, creatively and more. So I would not trade it for a minute, but I was not interested in playing music ever again when I quit. But of course, I worked in a restaurant for a couple of years and realized that is equally as soul sucking. So I was like, nope. I'd rather go and soul suck playing music than this. But I decided that I was never going to just sit and play guitar again. I needed to do something different. And it started, it was a slow transition. It started with a tambourine on my foot, and then moved to a cajon with a kick drum pedal, and then I added a snare drum. And, it was inspired by guys like John Prestige and his brother Ben Prestige. Seeing those guys and their setups, so I would try that, and then realize that I was never going to be this earthy swamp music blues player like those guys are, and they're so good at it. And a lot of one-man bands kind of get into that vibe, And I was like, no, I need to be more pop music. I want to play shows, in Florida. I want to wear a flowered shirt and play Jimmy Buffett tunes sometimes, So I needed something a bit more authentic or authentic for those types of songs. So that's when I kind of transitioned to the electronic drum kit, had, sounds that were more familiar for listeners. And I could play venues where I didn't have to worry about bringing this huge drum set, even though my setup is gigantic. But I didn't have to bring this huge drum set, and I was able to control all the volumes. And so the show was born, and then with the help of my bass player, Justin, who moved to Portland recently, I was able to kind of explore different drum beats while he kind of kept the train rolling as I was stumbling through different drum patterns. And so I credit him a lot for breaking out of that very simple, rudimentary drum beats into something a little bit better. So, yeah, that's the story, and I'm sticking to it, Philip. Thanks for asking. Let's see. We have some national days today, some interesting ones. A special one for our ginger friends out there. We'll start with that. Today, January 12th, of course, it's Kiss a Ginger Day. Yes, gingers deserve some love too, don't they? Whether we think so or not. On January 12th, everyone is encouraged to find their favorite redhead and give them a little peck on Kiss a Ginger Day. Obviously, only if it's requested or reciprocated. Don't just go find a random redhead and try to kiss them. I think that would be a huge mistake. But this day was created to support a more positive spin than its counterpart. Kiss a Ginger Day brings sweet kisses to redheads. They have once been teased for their hair color. I would never do that. Maybe I would. I love redheads. The red hair gene is actually a recessive gene. It requires 2 copies for it to present itself. And even then, there's no guarantee that it will. If both parents have the gene, there was a 1 in 4 chance they will also have a redheaded child. Most natural-born redheads have brown eyes, followed by green or hazel. Coming in at 1% of the world's population, the blue-eyed ginger is the rarest kind. So if you give one of these gingers a kiss, consider yourself lucky. A little lucky charm. And this is in this article, it's emboldened, so it's very important. If you didn't already know this, you should definitely obtain permission before kissing anyone who doesn't expect it, including a ginger or a redhead. Very important. Unsolicited kisses result in bodily injury to you. In many cases, many redheads feel like outcasts for having red hair. And this celebration empowers redheads to feel confident, look amazing, and rock their beauty. Red hair is more than a color, it's a lifestyle, according to this article. Besides, redheads are rare. Less than 2% of the population are crowned with red hair, and those who are may very well be left-handed, too. Did you know that? Learning new things every day. Kiss a Ginger Day. Let's see, what else do we got going on? Oh, here's another one. Here's a sweet one. It's the sweet one. It's National Marzipan Day. You guys don't be knowing about marzipan? I'm going to tell you about it. Join millions of people across the nation on January 12th as they participate in the annual National Marzipan Day. Yes, on the 12th of January, the celebration kicks off with creatively formed confections that delight the eyes and the mouth. Marzipan is a confection made primarily of sugar or honey and ground almonds, for anyone who doesn't know. It's also sometimes augmented with almond oil or extract. Candy makers use this sweet confection to make a variety of sweets, and some of them, of course, include marzipan-filled chocolate, small replicas of fruits and vegetables, or you can roll it into thin sheets and use it as a glaze for icing cakes. People also create miniature marzipan animal figures, incorporating them into their New Year's Day celebrations and traditions. Have you guys ever seen some of these incredible marzipan cakes? You know, all those like specialty cakes that you see that have all the like weird designs and figurines and all that stuff. Marzipan is at the core of this. The cake, of course, has to be delicious, but the marzipan is what gives you all the decorating. So today's the day. Celebrate National Marzipan Day. And if sweet's not your thing and you're more of a savory or a spicy, it's also National Curried Chicken Day. Who doesn't love a good curried chicken? Somebody maybe perhaps that doesn't like spice. Each year on January 12th, curried chicken lovers enthusiastically celebrate National Curried Chicken Day. They fill their dishes with a variety of flavorful spices and serve them to family and friends. When making a true curry chicken, don't reach for the curry powder. No. Instead, you stew the chicken in a sauce made from clarified butter, known as ghee, onions, garlic, and a medley of spices such as cumin, coriander, cinnamon, ginger, and turmeric. Other ingredients include chilies and tomatoes. Curry powder made its way into recipes by way of Britain, in fact. Their longtime presence in India left a desire for the flavors of the East, on the palates of many of the English. Curry powder and recipes with it existed as early as 1700s, but curry chicken and other curried meat recipes gained popularity during the British Raj beginning in 1858. In parts of the U.S., curry chicken is a popular dish known as country captain chicken, a stewed chicken dish that's been flavored with curry powder. There you go. Love a good curry chicken dish. What else do we got today? There's one more. Oh, yes, a very important one. It's also National Pharmacist Day. Time to show your pharmacist, your local pharmacist, a little appreciation. Recognizes and honors all pharmacists across the nation. The role of pharmacists has shifted over the years. Once they served as the classical lick, stick, and pour dispensary, they now serve as an integrated member of the healthcare team. Pharmacists are often directly involved in patient care and play a vital role in a patient's recovery. Historically, pharmacists primarily checked and distributed drugs to doctors for patient-prescribed medication. But, of course, in modern times, pharmacists advise patients and healthcare providers on the selection, dosages, interactions, and side effects of prescriptions, of which there are many. And if you watch television at all, additionally, their role includes being a learned intermediary between a prescriber and a patient. By monitoring the health and progress of patients, pharmacists can then ensure the safe and effective use of medication. I remember, though, that pharmacists work long hours, usually standing the entire time, along with dispensing pills and providing advice on medications. Pharmacists also administer immunizations. Pharmacists who conduct research discover and test new medications, too. So be sure to give your pharmacist a high five or a kiss if they're a ginger. And that today is our national days. And of course, as always, we think every day is a day to celebrate. And if you don't have a reason, we're happy to give you one. There you go. Just a little recap of the show last night. For those of you that tuned in and those of you that missed it, it was a wonderful show with Vern Daisel. Of course, the front man for the band Tombstone Chevy and former front man of the band Switch and Whiskey. Also a tremendous solo act as well. If you ever get to see Vern perform solo, totally worth it. In fact, he'll be playing tomorrow night at Terra Firmata, opening up the night for Thunderfoot, a wonderful Southern rock tribute band. And congratulations to Joe Blake Carger for winning those tickets last night. We got a little contest to give away 2 tickets to that show, and Blake was our fabulous winner. So congratulations to him. Enjoy the show, Joe Blake. Tomorrow night, I believe the show kicks off at 7, but the doors open at 5:30. So get in there and get your drink on, find a nice place to sit until the show begins, and then get up and dance. It's Vern Daisel and Thunderfoot tomorrow night. It's the Southern Rock weekend there, so all weekend, if you're a Southern Rock fan, you should go to every show, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there at Terra Firmata. Great acts. You got, as mentioned, Vern Daisel and Thunderfoot on Friday night. Brothers After All, a Allman Brothers tribute, is on Saturday night, and the Kevin McLaughlin Band, our good friend Kevin, is performing on Sunday from kicking off at 4 o'clock. It's a nice early show there on Sunday. So we also have tickets to give away for that. All you have to do is join our mailing list at jncpodcast.com, and you get in the running for tickets to the Sunday show. So go do that. We're going to be giving those tickets away today, so get on it if you haven't already. If you've already signed up, you're already in the running if you're local here. So, all right. Yeah, and then just we had a great chat with Vern about his new album, Call of the Wild, which is available anywhere you listen to music. But we prefer that you go right to verndaisel.com and buy the CD. Use it as a coaster if you want, but it's a great way to support local artists by buying their products directly from them. Streaming is great, but they don't get paid for that. They don't get paid for that. I get paid royalties more for playing my own song at my own show night after night than I do for, I think, like 5,000 streams on Spotify. That's how crazy streaming is. I can go and play my own song at a show and make more money than 5,000 streams on Spotify. Crazy. But I'll make even more than that. I'll make twice or three times that if you buy a CD at my show. So it's crazy how it all works. It doesn't make sense. We live in the future. We just got to wait for the money to catch up. So the best way to support an artist is to buy stuff from their merch table and buy their CDs. And it comes directly from them. And I have my copy. I put it back on the shelf, but I have my copy, and it's signed, and I can't wait to sell it on eBay when Vern is a huge rock star. It's going to be great. But next week on the podcast, we've been pretty guest-heavy the last few weeks, which is wonderful. I love getting to know all these people and catching up. But next week, we're back to our shenanigans, and we'll be doing the world's hottest gummy bear. They call him Lil Nitro, and it's going to be fun, to say the least. Derek has been chomping at the bit for this one for the last few weeks. He tried to get me to do it on my birthday show. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. We need to make a special day out of it, and so we have. So that'll be coming up next Wednesday on the show. And we'll have the Destruction Crew back in the lounge with us to do that. Paul said, so eat more chicken today? That's the spicy chicken. And I have the spice. All right, you guys. We're going to take a quick musical break. When we return, we'll jump into our news stories. We've got a few and some updates on some stories from yesterday or the... and previous, which is nice. Always good to have updates on stories. And we got a huge dose of sad news yesterday. And, of course, we'll talk about that, too, as well. But in the meantime, enjoy this one from Micah Scott. This is Karina, one of my favorite tunes from him. It's a great old blues song, and I think he does a really wonderful version of it. Don't go away. You're watching Jams and Coffee in the Morning. We'll be right back.
I got a bird, wanna whistle. Baby's got a bird, honey's got a bird, we'll sing. My baby's got a bird, honey's got a bird, we'll sing. But without my Karina, I sure don't mean a natural thing. But
we're back for Jams and Coffee here in the morning. Then, of course, as mentioned, Micah Spot with Karina. And a live look there, if you're watching the show, a live look there at downtown Stuart. A beautiful day in downtown Stuart. So far. And if you haven't already, and you're just watching the show for the first time on YouTube, smash that subscribe button. There it is. And hit the little bell there, too, for notifications of when we go live. Although we do this every weekday morning, God willing, as long as I'm healthy enough. So we got some news for you. Let's get to it. Breaking headlines. I don't know if these are breaking, but some of them are. So check it out. First story here, and I find these interesting. I'm a fan of the celestial things, obviously, as you can see in the background there. If Jeff Bezos was like, get on the rocket, Brad, and go to space, I would do it. I think I'd do it, for sure. I'm sad that William Shatner is so bent out of shape about it. But, here's what he spent his entire career in, quote-unquote, space. So, naturally, it would probably be a disappointment for him. But not for me. I'm in. I'm ready for it. All right, first story, though. And I'm interested, and perhaps it will become apparent during the article here, because I just kind of skimmed it. But how would you even know that this was true? Anyway, here's the story. A rare green comet not seen since the Stone Age will zoom overhead tonight. And I'll tell you how to watch on February 1st. I know today's not the February 1st, but stick with me. We'll get there. A comet called C2022 E3 ZTF will pass by Earth for the first time in 50,000 years, meaning the last time it cruised by our planets, Homo sapiens were still sharing the planet with the Neanderthals. And sometimes I feel like we still are. I'm not going to tell you which one I am. Let you think for yourself. And according to calculations from astronomers, the comet will never come back again. So this is a once in a life cycle of the Earth opportunity for you to see. Our little stamp on cosmic history here. But the truth is, you don't have to wait until February to see the comet. There are a few ways to spot it before its closest approach, and that starts today. On Thursday, January 12th, the comet will be at perihelion, its closest point to the sun. When comets pass close to the sun, their ice sublimates, meaning it turns into gas, skipping the liquid phase. This sublimation creates a temporary atmosphere called a coma that glows from our point of view. Interesting. Starting in the pre-dawn hours of today, so we've already missed it, the comet could be visible near the northern sky, constellation Corona Borealis, and then we'll move westward as time goes on. If viewing conditions aren't ideal in your area, you can tune into a live stream provided by the Virtual Telescope Project, which will start at 11 p.m. tonight. Cool. That'll be fun. On the nights of January 26th and 27th, the comet may be visible just east of the Little Dipper's Bowl. Experts expect the comet to be visible to the naked eye by the third week of January, and by February 1st, when the comet makes its closest approach to the Earth at 28 million miles away, it'll be near the constellation Camelopardalis. Camelopardalis. I'm not going to try again. A few days later, on February 5th and 6th, the comet will pass to the west of the star Capella and then enter the constellation Auriga. Unfortunately, there's no guarantee you'll be able to see the comet. If you live in an area with high light pollution, the comet will be much too faint to see with the naked eye. And even in areas with less light pollution, the closer the comet comes to the Earth, the more its light will seem to diffuse over a larger area. And your best bet may be to seek an area with dark, clear skies And avoid using telescopes and binoculars, according to space.com. Your eyes should be just fine. The comet was discovered by Frank Massey and Bryce Bolin back in March of 2022. The astronomers spotted the comet using the Zwicky Transient Facility at the Palomar Observatory in Southern California. At the time of its discovery, the comet was within the orbit of Jupiter, nearly 400 million miles away from the sun. Well, there you go. Not sure exactly how they calculated that it was it flew by the Earth 50,000 years ago, but who are we to disagree? Who are we to disagree? But that could be cool. Once in a lifetime. Once in a, not just a generation, but once in a human cycle. Once in a Earth. I don't know. By the time it comes around again, humans will cease to exist on the planet. So that's what they're saying. Anyway, that's a lot to take in. Here's also a lot to take in. Yesterday we were talking about the FAA had grounded a bunch of flights early in the morning because a system failure, their computer system. So here's what happened. What happened was a corrupt file led to the FAA ground stoppage, and that file was also found in the backup system. So I don't know how they fixed it, but it was everywhere was a problem. So the officials are still trying to figure out exactly what led to the FAA system outage yesterday, but traced it, as mentioned, to a corrupt file. A statement late yesterday, the FAA said it was continuing to investigate the outage and take all the needed steps to prevent this kind of disruption from happening again. They went on to say our preliminary work has traced the outage to a damaged database file. At this time, there's no evidence of a cyber attack. That's good. That was my first thought. So who's stopping all the planes? But they said they didn't find any evidence of that. The FAA is still trying to determine whether any one person or routine entry into the database is responsible for the corrupted file. A government official familiar with the investigation told CNN that. What are we going to do if we find out it's one single person that grounded all the flights? Are we going to stone them in the streets? No. If it wasn't malicious, it was certainly an honest mistake, I imagine. I've corrupted files on my own computer, doing routine things. Paul probably knows. Paul and I use the same broadcast software to run our shows. And I've changed things or put in a plug-in or something that has crashed my entire system. Much smaller scale than the entire FAA and grounding every flight in the country. But nonetheless, a simple file corruption could lead to a massive headache. Phillips said, a serious issue there. Amazing how vulnerable our transportation industry really is. It's not just transportation, baby. There's a lot of industry that's one miscalculation away from complete collapse. It's unbelievable. And that's what happens really when you stretch your means to cut corners and increase profits for shareholders. You know, don't get me wrong. Capitalist at heart. I get it. You know, but at some point you have to say, what is good for the business and what is good for the customer. You know, and what do I have to sacrifice to make sure that it remains good quality? And I think that's missing in a lot of industry these days. Listen to me, sounding like an ancient relic from a time. It's been this way forever. It's just these days it seems more prevalent because we get to read stories and you get to go on the internet and listen to me run my mouth all morning talking about it. But I digress. Another source familiar with the FAA operation described exclusively to CNN on Wednesday how the outage played out. He said when the air traffic control officials realized they had a computer issue late on Tuesday, they came up with a plan, the source said, to reboot the system when it would least disrupt air travel. And, of course, that was early on Wednesday morning. But ultimately, the plan led to the outage, or the plan and the outage led to massive flight delays and an unprecedented order to stop all aircraft departures nationwide. Computer system that failed was the central database for all notice to air missions nationwide. Those notices advise pilots of issues along their route and at their destination. And as a backup, which officials switched to when the problems with the main system emerged. But the FAA officials told reporters early on Wednesday that the issues developed in the 3 p.m. Eastern hour on Tuesday. And they ultimately found a corrupt file in the main system. But the corrupt file was also found in the backup system. So, terrible. Redundancy. Dumbdency. In the overnight hours of Tuesday into Wednesday, the FAA officials decided to shut down and reboot the main system. A significant decision because the reboot can take about 90 minutes. They decided to perform the reboot early on Wednesday before air traffic began flying on the East Coast to minimize disruptions to flights, and they thought they'd be ahead of the rush. Who wouldn't? During the early morning process, the FAA told reporters that the system was beginning to come back online and said it would take some time to resolve. The system, according to the source, did come back up, but it wasn't completely pushing out the pertinent information that it needed for safe flight. It appeared it was taking longer to do that. And of course, the rest is history. They grounded all the flights. And the source of all this information said that the system is an example of aging infrastructure and it's due for an overhaul. And I agree. Same deal with Southwest. A lot of or at least one story that I read about a Southwest pilot coming out and saying exactly that. The system that handles all of this information is just antiquated. And while, they're trying to push the narrative that there's not enough pilots and there's not enough service staff to work on the ships, or work on the ships, on the airlines, he said quite the contrary. Everybody was ready and willing to work. They were sitting at their hotels waiting for orders, and they weren't coming. They were going to the airports and just hanging around. So, a little bit of misinformation there, and I'd believe it coming from one of the pilots versus the CEO of the company any day. Boots on the ground, man. Phillips said, just Control-Alt-Delete that bitch. And I think they did. I'm pretty sure they did. That's what they said. We rebooted the system. Control-Alt-Delete. Ground all the airplanes. All right, we'll move on to that. So that was an update from a story yesterday. Here's another update from a huge story the last couple of weeks, but it's good news. This is good news. Damar Hamlin, of course, the safety for the Buffalo Bills that went into cardiac arrest on the field, has been discharged. Has been discharged from the hospital after spending more than a week there. The Buffalo Bills player Damar Hamlin has been discharged from a Buffalo medical center, according to his club, after more than a week of hospitalization due to a cardiac arrest he suffered during a Monday Night Football game this month. The 24-year-old, God, he's such a baby. I can't believe this happened to him. 24-year-old Bill's safety has been showing signs of accelerated improvement in the days leading up to his release from Buffalo General Medical Center in New York. The hospital officials had said, we have completed a series of tests and evaluations, and in consultation with the team physicians, we're confident that Damar can safely be discharged to continue his rehab at home and with the Bills. Physician leading Hamlin's care in Buffalo, Dr. Jamie Nadler, said that in a statement. Hamlin, of course, initially was hospitalized in Cincinnati when his heart suddenly stopped after a tackle during a game against the host Cincinnati Bengals back on January 2nd. But he was transferred to the Buffalo facility on Monday after doctors determined his critical condition had improved enough for the move. Doctors at the Buffalo hospital were trying to determine why Hamlin suffered the cardiac arrest to begin with. A group of hospitals that include the Buffalo Medical Center said before his discharge and included whether pre-existing conditions played a role in the event, which shocked many people around the country and prompted a huge outpouring of support for the second-year NFL player. On Tuesday, Hamlin went through a comprehensive medical evaluation as well as a series of cardiac and neurological and vascular testing, and no cause of Hamlin's cardiac arrest has been publicly announced. Hamlin tweeted on Tuesday, "Special thank you to Buffalo General. It's been nothing but love since arrival. Keep me in y'all's prayers, please." It'll be up to Hamlin to decide when he will be around the team again while recovering, Bills coach Sean McDermott said on Wednesday. He went on to say, grateful first and foremost that he's home with his parents and his brother. There's no timetable for Hamlin's return to professional football at the moment. He went on to say, McDermott went on to say, we'll leave it up to him. His health is first and foremost in our mind, and as situation goes, and when he feels ready, we will welcome him back. Very nice. Of course, while in critical condition in Cincinnati, Hamlin was sedated and on a ventilator for days. Friday morning, the breathing tube was removed. Hamlin began walking with some help by that afternoon, and as doctors said Monday, that was the report on Monday. Healthcare team focused on stabilizing Hamlin, upgraded his condition Monday because his organ systems were stable and he no longer needed intensive nursing or respiratory therapy. Doctors said he's certainly on what we consider a very normal to even accelerated trajectory from the life-threatening event that he underwent. He's making great progress. Normal recovery from a cardiac arrest can be measured in weeks to months. Doctor said Hamlin had been beating that timeline at each stage and is neurologically intact. So we wish the best. I saw some really hateful, maybe not hateful, but polarizing posts on social media about the whole thing, comparing him to police officers and first responders and, these other people that, put their life on the line. And, why does he get so much attention? Listen, I understand that sentiment. I truly do. But you can't compare him, this man, to anybody that does what they do. One line to sum it up that I learned working on cruise ships, because since we were talking about it earlier, is when you're living on a cruise ship is like living in a society with all of the hierarchy and everything all compiled into a 2,000-person society, right? And it goes from, people that sweep the floors all the way up to the captain of the ship and everyone in between. And we're all just players in the game with the common goal, at least, to show a good time to our guests. That's what makes cruise ships kind of special, is that we have that common goal in common, everyone from scrubbing toilets to driving the boat. And, sometimes it would come up about pay rates and how much time, free time you get. And, of course, entertainers, we're basically like we get paid more and have less, have to work less time. So everybody kind of hates us on the cruise ships, not hates us, but like doesn't think that we deserve what we get for the effort that we put in. And you know what? You're entitled to that. But one phrase that I took to heart with me forever now, and I apply it to everything in my life, is, and here I quote, and you could take it from me, we all sign our contracts. Meaning, if you are scrubbing the toilets and you wish that you were playing guitar instead, then go get that contract and sign it, and then live that life. But you decided to sign that contract to scrub the toilets. Nobody said you're only going to scrub the toilets. You may have been ushered to that decision, or guided that way. But at the end of the day, you signed your contract. You took pen to paper and signed it. And I think that applies here First responders sign their contract. I think they're heroes, and I appreciate them every single day. I understand the sacrifice. I have family members and good friends that are both policemen, sheriff's deputies, firefighters, you name it. This kid signed his contract and put him on the world stage. And he is a hero to some people, to children, to aspiring football players, perhaps college players that look at him as hope for signing with the NFL and living their dreams of playing football. And no doubt it was tragic to watch that kid basically die on the field, and they resuscitated him. So I think that it is a story worth talking about. And I am personally glad that he is on the road to recovery. So that's how I feel about it. It takes nothing away, I don't think, from first responders who have been injured in the line of duty. Do I think we should talk about that more? Absolutely. But that's not up to me. Anyway, that's my 2 cents, for what it's worth. And I'm happy to hear arguments against or for that. Absolutely. All right, moving on. So that was a happy story. Here's a sad one, you guys. The music world, shocking blow with the death of guitar and rock icon Jeff Beck. I'm sure you've heard by now. Passed away Tuesday, and we just started hearing about it yesterday. He was 78 years old, and he was hailed as one of the most iconic rock icons of the 1960s. And Beck's representative confirmed in a statement that the legendary musician died after suddenly contracting an illness. It said that he passed away peacefully on Tuesday. The statement went on to say, on behalf of his family, it's with deep and profound sadness that we share the news of Jeff Beck's passing. After suddenly contracting bacterial meningitis, he peacefully passed away yesterday. It went on to say his family asked for privacy while they processed this tremendous loss. Of course, Beck, who was born in England in 1944, was known for his urgent, in-your-face guitar. It was so expressive that he didn't need a singer, according to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Beck, a double Hall of Fame inductee. He was inducted as a solo artist in 2009 by Jimmy Page, and also as a member of the Yardbirds in the early 1990s. He built his first guitar when he was 15 years old. He learned the instrument inside and out before mastering everything from heavy metal to jazz. As the Hall of Fame remembers the visionary artist. Speaking of Jeff Beck, I'm not going to name any names, but on my social media, I saw somebody that just, appreciated the impact that Jeff Beck has had, didn't understand the hype. And the only thing I could say to that is, people like Jeff Beck and Eric Clapton and Jimi Hendrix, all these guys that kind of came out of the 60s, the Beatles, while we are all just impersonating and replicating our guitar work, these guys invented it. And at the very least, made it to what we consider palatable today. So, before you, just in case you're wondering why Jeff Beck was so important, the way you play guitar today is directly because of Jeff Beck and Clapton and Hendrix. So, I'm just going to throw that out there. You're not inventing anything. Not here in 2023. We still have some progressive guitarists out there that are doing things, but if you're playing rock and roll, it's because of guys like this that you're doing anything even remotely that you're doing. So enjoy that tidbit. And with that, we're going to give you one more musical break here, and we'll come back with our celebrity birthdays and some shameless plugs, and we'll get you on with your day. What do we want to do? We haven't heard Miss Abby Owens in a little bit. Here's one from Abby Owens. This is Love Me. You're listening to Jams and Coffee in the morning. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
just know that I want you to love me, baby. Love me good. You grabbed a hold of me, baby, and knowing damn well that I can't let go. You always seem to get me on my back, knowing I can't say no. I just know that I want you to love me, baby. Love me good. Love me, baby, like no man ever could. Will you still say you love me after 5 years of not seeing my face? Will you walk on water? And I want to make a mistake. I want you to love me, baby. Love me good. Oh, yes. Love me, baby, like no man ever could. No, like no man ever could. Oh, like no man ever could.
All right, we're back with Jams and Coffee in the Morning. Getting towards the end of the show here. If you haven't already, do subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see this beautiful face each and every weekday morning. Speaking of this beautiful face, I don't know, man. I don't know if I've ever talked about this on the show, but so when I was younger, I was at a house party and I tripped and fell. That's all I'm going to go into that. And I smacked my face on the concrete and I chipped my front teeth. And instead of getting veneers or anything like that, because I was young and didn't have any kind of money whatsoever, was worried. Those were the days when you were worried about, do you eat or pay rent? Those days are, I wouldn't say long gone, but certainly certainly smarter or more savvy anyway. So, but I did find a dentist, a wonderful cosmetic dentist up in the Orlando area that was a friend of a friend and did a bond job on my teeth. There's a process called tooth bonding. And it's basically, kind of how you would like bondo a car with a dent or a crack or whatever. Paint over it and it looks beautiful. It's what they did to my teeth, right? Now, the bonding is only good for, they say, 5 to 10 years. And I'm going on like 12 or 13 years here with this bond job. So naturally, over time, it just wears down because it's not, it's not as strong as tooth, and I have a bad habit of grinding my teeth. I do it all the time. I do it in my sleep. I do it when I'm driving. When I'm driving, I have to chew gum to not grind my teeth. It's crazy. But over time, it's just worn down. And so my front tooth had the biggest chip. And you guys may have noticed, maybe it's hard to tell on the computer or on the television screen, but in real life, I have like a little snaggle tooth because the bonding is kind of wearing, but the real tooth is not. So the real tooth is staying where it is, and the bonding is kind of getting worn away. And so I have like a little snaggle tooth. So I was noticing it in the mirror the other day, and I was like, you know what? I think it's time to fix the snaggle tooth. So I have an appointment on Monday to go and have the tooth rebonded. So probably Tuesday morning, I'm going to be showing off my brand new pearly whites there. And hopefully it goes off without a hitch and everything's good. But no more snaggletooth. No more snaggletooth. Yes. It should be fun. So I'll give you an update when that happens, of course, on Monday. But you'll have to deal with me 2 more mornings with my snaggletooth, and then I'll be ready for my close up. Anyway, you guys, we're gonna run through this real quick. Celebrity birthdays. There's just a few today. Pretty recognizable names. All share a birthday today, and as always, we'll let you guess. I'll give you the description, and then if you know it quickly, throw it in the chats and comments. Otherwise, I'm going to tell you. First up, turning 30, the big 3-0 today, English singer and former member of the boy band One Direction. He left the band in 2015 and released his debut album, Mind of Mine, featuring the single Pillow Talk in March of 2016. In 2018, he released his second album, Icarus Falls, which included his hit, Dusk Till Dawn, featuring Sia. Turning 30 years old today, who could it be? It's Zayn Malik. Zayn Malik turning the big 3-0 today. Congratulations. Welcome to the 30 Club, Zayn. Hope your hair stays intact. When I turned 30, it was all over. It was all over. All right, next up for celebrity birthdays, turning 59 years old today. This is an easy one. Billionaire and founder of Amazon.com. In 2013, he purchased the Washington Post. And he's considered to be an e-commerce pioneer and a consumerism revolutionary. His company, Bezos Expeditions, is a partial funder of businesses such as Airbnb, Twitter, and Uber. And, of course, I even mentioned him a little bit earlier. He's blasting people off into space as well. We can only possibly be talking about the man, the myth, the legend, Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos turning 59. I thought he'd be older. Good for him. 59 today. Happy birthday, Jeff. All right, next up on our list, turning the big 69. And it's fitting for this individual. Famous New York shock jock, television personality, and author, became known for discussing traditionally obscene subjects in a frank and unabashed way. He created his own show back in 1979 and was shortly thereafter joined on the program by the wonderful and beautiful Robin Quivers. Who are we talking about? Turning 69 years old today. We're talking about not Jeff Bezos, but Howard Stern. Howard Stern celebrating his birthday today. Inspiration to anybody in broadcast, I imagine. Happy birthday, Howard Stern. Turning 58 years old today. Heavy metal vocalist for the band White Zombie, who has worked as a solo artist as well. And he also is a horror film director for films like the remake of Halloween and House of a Thousand Corpses. Turning 58 years old today, we're talking about Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie celebrating his birthday today, 58. Happy birthday, Rob. Turning 49 years old today, known as her stage name in this girl group, Sporty Spice, with the Spice Girls, who, of course, scored the 1996 UK #1 and 97 US #1, Wannabe. Her first solo attempt was collaborating with Bryan Adams on a hit, When You're Gone. Then released her debut solo album, Northern Star, in 1999, which sold 4 million copies. That's a pretty solid effort. Turning 49 years old today, we're talking about Mel C. Still fit. Still fit as a fiddle. Good for her. Happy birthday, Mel C. And rounding out our birthdays, our celebrity birthdays today, turning 53 years old, an American musician from Rage Against the Machine. They had, of course, the 1996 #1 album, Evil Empire, and the 1993 UK #16 single, Bullet in the Head. He also co-founded One Day as a Lion in 2008. Who are we talking about? We're talking about the master songsmith, Zach De La Rocha, turning 53 years old today. Happy birthday, Zach. Happy birthday to all our celebrities. And happy birthday to anybody out there that's celebrating a birthday today. We certainly wish you a happy birthday as well. And that does it for the birthdays. I'm going to quickly run through some shameless plugs and then get you on with your day. Of course, the Jams and Cocktails live podcast, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Next week, we're doing a little Nitro, but you can catch up on this past episode with Vern Daisel. That will be up ready for you to check out. You can also watch the shows on live on YouTube and Facebook, or listen to them on JNC Radio, our companion internet radio station, on jncpodcast.com or the Live365 Radio App. Check out our friend Paul on the Drums and Rums podcast and his live stream on Thursday nights. Tonight, 8 p.m., his biggest happy hour and a half hour. Shout out to our friends and partners at Code Rum, Hop Life Brewing, Sneaky Tiki in downtown Stewart, The Bug Juice, Chesser Custom Designs, Laser Etching and Engraving, BradBrockDesign.com. And, yeah. And our friends at LearnToLiveAboard.com, Brett and Kim. LearnToLiveAboard.com is a great blog about living on a sailboat. So if you've ever had any dreams and desires about that, check out that blog first and foremost. It may change your ideas, whether to or not to live aboard. Live aboard. LearnToLiveAboard.com. This year's Art Fest in downtown Stewart at Gazebo Park is happening February 11th and 12th, Saturday and Sunday, and the JNC podcast crew will be the official entertainment hosts. So make your plans to be there and then come and see us. We'll be bringing on all the entertainment all weekend long on the main stages. So we'll see you there. You can also check out my shows at bradbrock.com. I'll be performing at the Manatee Island in Fort Pierce tonight, 5:30. Come and say hi. And check out the Southern Rock Weekend at Terra Firmata. Friday night, we got Thunderfoot with Vern Daisel opening up the show there. Congratulations again to Joe Blake for winning those tickets. Saturday night at Terra Firmata, we have Brothers After All, the Allman Brothers Tribute. And Sunday, you can go and hang out with the Kevin McLaughlin Band. And we'll be giving away tickets for the Sunday show and the Saturday show pretty soon. The Sunday show, we're giving those tickets away today. All you have to do is go to jncpodcast.com and subscribe to our mailing list. Just click on the button, subscribe there, and or scroll down and write in your email address. We'll be picking a winner this afternoon for those tickets. So check it out. Also, if you love what we do, check out our Patreon page. And consider subscribing for $5 a month. Get some behind-the-scenes footage and some exclusive content. And help us out. We'd love that. And if you can, do. And if you can't, share. It's super important to share what we do as well. It goes a long way. And that does it. That does it for the show. And that does it for me. I will see you back here tomorrow morning. Enjoy your Thursday. Whatever you do, do it with a smile. Take care of yourselves and be kind to each other out there. Broadcasting live from the legendary JNC Lounge. I'm Brad Brock. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Tune in again tomorrow morning for the latest local buzz, national headlines, music news, and more on JNC in the Morning, right here on Facebook and YouTube.